Hello, dear viewers. Lorenzo here with episode 53 of KSP to Mars. Today we will be unlocking a science node, and frequent viewers will know which one. We need only a few hundred more science, and here we have a piece of infrastructure in the Martian system. Tragically, last episode, another brave astronaut died on that red surface. Makes you wonder, is it actually some iron oxides that make it red, or is there something else involved? Well, we'll have to land there to find out. For now, we are going to check out one of the moons, and embarrassingly, I don't actually know whether Phobos or Deimos is which one is the closest and which one is the farthest. So we're going to go for Gilly. It's one of the close Martian moons. Well, it's really, really tiny. It should have an escape velocity of about jumping speed, and that also means that its sphere of influence is very small. Now, we are in a retrograde orbit relative to it, because, that's a leftover from yesterday's mission, where we tried to make the care package rendezvous with the Mars lab. That was launched in the past, and then I mistakenly put it in a retrograde orbit, and we're still feeling the consequences of that to this very day. Now, the encounter here is somewhat troubling. It doesn't give me a periapsis, and it has the encounter and escape timers on the exact same moments. Now, I know that the closest approach markers that show up before you get an encounter, they went all the way down to like 80 kilometers. That means that you can be 80 kilometers away from the moon and not have an encounter. This is very much more like a rendezvous than an actual flyby. Now, our orbital speed around Mars is 1350 meters per second. We're in pretty much the same orbit as the moon, except retrograde, so that will make our closing speed just over 2.5 kilometers per second, with a sphere of influence that's smaller than 60 kilometers, give or take. That's a guess. That gives us about 20 seconds inside of it. A low amount. Also, because I have to so carefully tune the encounter, there is, I think, a rather high probability that it is aimed straight through the moon. That would give us 15 kilometers until crash, until the center of that moon. That would give us about, well, I don't know how large it is, just a few kilometers from sphere of influence entry to the surface. Remember, the relative speed was 2.5 kilometers per second, so it might be challenging to get a science reading off and actually radio that home before any sort of crash is imminent. Now, I might be able to alter the orbit, but here with working with 0.1 meter per second speeds, that has not worked from out here. Maybe now that we're closer to it, I can try and use another maneuver node. Although, it is not really letting me do that. So, I can just try it experimentally. We have an ion engine, so we can do very, very small burns. That is good. I'm now pointed anti-normal to our orbit. I'm going to lock that in and just give it a little bit of throttle. Just a tiny amount. Yeah, see there, the encounter has now been lost, so I'm going to try and thrust the other way. What I want is to see a periapsis marker. That means we're going close by, that means we're going by the moon instead of through it. And then even if we go way too fast, well, we'll have another shot at it. So, let's thrust a little bit more. We are ever so slowly changing our trajectory. This is the Juno periapsis. No, and there it's gone again. So this is what I've been struggling with. I have very little idea of what this encounter is going to look like. I can still try the relative up and down directions, and I will. Let's see, we are now up for an encounter again, but the sphere of influence is so small that maybe it just doesn't do a periapsis mark. I don't know the actual real life size of these moons. Let's see. No, that made it go away. It could be that it's just a few kilometers across. I mean, the acceleration due to its gravity is bizarrely slow. I mean, if you jump, if you get like, I think it was 25 kilometers per hour, which would shake out to like 6 or 7 meters per second. that would give you escape velocity. So it can't be large. It can't be large. So let's thrust this way. We're just gonna have to go and see, I think. So let's time warp forwards to that sphere of influence crossover, and then just have our fingers on the trigger for that gravity sensor. Oh, look at that, we're passing over it, so it seems, in less than a second. That is definitely challenging. But maybe we can have a look at it. Let's see, we have our sphere of influence in 30 seconds. That means I can go to the map view now. Can we see this? Oh, there it is. Wonderful. That really is a small rock. Look at that. Now we have to find the gravity scanner. This is a bad time to lose it. Gravity data. Space high over Juno. We have to wait a few more seconds. Look, there it is. There it is. Log the gravity data. No, still not in the sphere of influence. Still not, still not. Oh, I lost it. Yes, we have it. Starting the transmission. I want another reading. I want another reading. Another reading. What? What happened? Why did we explode? Surely this doesn't have an atmosphere. G-force tolerance. This is a magic moonlet. What? Everything exceeded this G-force tolerance. Most G-force endured. 0.1 G. Something is wrong. Is up with this moon. Something is up. We did get some science readings out though, so maybe the boys and girls at home can do it. We did manage to rendezvous with the space rock. It didn't seem as though we hit its surface. It seemed to me as though there was like 1 second of re-entry effects, which would be strange, of course, because there's no way this has an atmosphere. So either this is a hidden alien spaceship with a force shield that protects against probes, or slightly more boringly, it could be a glitch in the real solar system mod. I think the Kerbal Space Program game wasn't quite designed for objects this small. Incidentally, they are working on that. The next update will have a asteroid mission pack in collaboration with actual NASA Institute. So that's wonderful. That system will serve a little bit better for bodies of this size. For now, fortunately, no one was killed, and it was just a probe that got hit, and we even managed to send some science. Now we have, let's have a look at the map view. No, let's do that through the Space Center. We have another one of these ion probes, and at some point in the future, that's going to try and rendezvous with the closer moon, but that's not going to happen quite yet because, well, this took many hours of ion thrusts, which, well, I did not show you. What we are going to do instead is use time warp to skip forward 1 more year and have a look at our Saturn science probe. That is about to reach Saturn, and that should be interesting as well. It's been launched 6 to 7 years ago, and it's got about a year left to travel. We have 10 kilometers per second of delta V left, but as was the case with the Jupiter probe, this depends on the beamed power. And we're getting 0.10 kilowatts, that means 100 watts. That means basically no thrust at all. So we can use this to keep our batteries topped up, but that's about it. Let's see if we can do science from here. No, this is still high over the sun. Of course, it's about a year out. So course corrections are pretty much out of the question. We can't do that. Fortunately, we have a pretty good periapsis setup. Let's see, maybe I can do a small course correction. Of course, if it's only like 0.10 meters per second, I might even be able to do it with the 100 watts. And if we can make our periapsis be as low as possible, of course, then we get an option of doing more science. Well, not really an option, but maybe we could get an opportunity to get a little bit closer to the planet. Ah, who am I kidding? That's not going to happen. This thrust is too small. I might just check it out, just thrust in a random direction. Look at that. It is changing, but not very quickly. See, this does nothing. So we're not going to suffer through that. We're instead just going to time warp forwards, and we can do that in science. We have the magnetometers. We have a we have the magnetometers and a gravity reader. That's all we have on this probe. It's been a long time traveling, but we are going to see one of the furthest out celestial bodies way over here. Oh, look at that. We're going to get a killer gravity assist from it as well. Wow. And that will take 68 years to get that high. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, the maneuver node, we don't need that. That was just playing around. So, time warping for that year, and I'm hoping that this should give us the science that we want to enable amazing technologies. Because what I want to do regarding Mars and those landers that have always crashed so far, I want to get bigger landers over there so I can land them on a heat shield and then just set them down on the surface with a big rocket. To do that, of course, we need a new propulsion technology to enable larger payloads out to Mars. And that's what we're trying to get here with the far out probes. Funding for these kind of things have since been cancelled, but this one was still en route, so it would be a shame to not use it. So yes, the Kerbal alarm clock is freaking out because we are getting in the sphere of influence. Now, come on, can I get in there? Please. Yes, remove these alarms. It's fine. Really. Don't worry about it, game. It will be fine. There we go. Delete that alarm. Time warp forwards a little bit. And here we are now. It's still 115 days to the periapsis. Wow. They use Dress, and I have an admission to make. I've never actually seen Dress in the stock game, that is. And we are going to pass, 166,000 kilometers away. So we might still not see it, but anyway, it's time to transmit home some science. 84 science from this one. That's the magnetometer. And we have the charge to send that. That's wonderful. There we go. The people at home will love that data. And of course the gravity scan. 56. Wow, that's disappointing for such a far out mission. Holy moly. I suppose all the gravity scanning we've been doing on the other celestial bodies have devalued the gravity science as a whole. The field is probably rather complete. Let's just go with that. Right, so that's about all we can do with this probe at this point. We can time warp forwards until we reach periapsis here. Oh, look at that. Yes, we're going to do that. Oh, it says moons as well. They put Lathe as a Saturn moon. That's wonderful. Oh, and that smudge there, that's the orbit. I thought they put rings in somehow, but that's just the orbit of this moon. It's unfortunate that our beamed power isn't working better, because then we could, do something to scout this out. You know what? What we could try. We have 9 days now before this gets here. I time warped away quite a bit of that 100 days. 9 days might be enough if this science has proven to be sufficient. 9 days might be enough to significantly enhance our beamed power capabilities. We are now transmitting about 80 megawatts. We get 100 watts from that. That's a factor of 1 million reduction approximately. So if we beef our transmission to the dozens of gigawatt range, dozen gigawatts, that would mean, factor a million away, that we would get, it's still not that much, and we would get some hundreds of kilowatts. Yeah. Hundreds of kilowatts. That is still not even a megawatt. And that is still not even 0.001 kilonewtons of thrust. So yeah, no, that probe is lost. That probe is lost. Let's have a look at the R&D building and focus on more joyous things. Oh no, we have 19 science. And of course we need 3000. If that ion probe hadn't exploded, we would probably have made it. If that Saturn probe had fuel for a close encounter, we would probably have made it. But fortunately, fortunately we have a laboratory orbiting Earth. Maybe they have discovered something in the meantime, in these years of time warping. I saw something that was rather troubling to me. I lost a space station. 72 science has been added to the R&D center. That gives me a terrible premonition that we have just an insufficient amount. Yeah, this power has run out. We need to send a refueling mission for the uranium in this laboratory. Yeah, it's not doing any more research. We did have another laboratory around the moon, but I didn't see that in the tracking station just now. I wonder what happened to it. Let's go and find out how our lunar assets are doing. Look, we used to have a lunar lander. Can we focus on that? Focus is the moon. What do we have here? Do we have nothing on the moon? What happened there? The Luna 4 ship. It seems as though our lunar station has vanished. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not good. That's not good at all. They would have had discoveries. Discoveries for the fusion drive. Oh, but look. We also had this one. I've forgotten about that one for a long time. This is the Luna 4. It's classified as a ship, not a base. But still, there is a laboratory that has gone missing. I think they had the breakthrough to the fusion power. And they were spirited away, either by competing nations or perhaps they built a fusion drive and just left. Let's go with that. They built a fusion drive, their prototype worked, and they left. Fortunately, their colleagues, they remained and did the research. So now we have 3000 science points, and it's a good thing we do too, because I really don't know how I can get a lot more science in a properly accessible manner. The sensors out at Mars, they give us a few dozens of science points. A return mission with a landing, oh, we can probably do it, but it would be a hefty undertaking. And this technology node is hopefully going to help out a lot. Look at that. We have antimatter initiated reactors. Not the best example because we don't have antimatter, but we have fusion reactors. Different kinds, and the fusion engine. It uses deuterium and tritium, uses a big laser, so it needs 3.5 gigawatts of power just to function, but then it uses fusion drive, external fusion in a drive for thrust, which is amazing. Research that. Ooh, and we get more promise of research here. We have 650 research left over. I think I'm going to work on this bit here just to get some more parts to play with, hopefully at least, because what I want the big heavy landing legs, and I don't have them yet. So, and this one has a small landing leg. It's only 90 points, so I'm going to explore this part of the tree looking for that landing leg. Do we have here? Ah, found it. Wonderful. We have the big landing leg and we have the drogue chute, which could be very useful on Mars. It's been noted by a few of my viewers that, well, I might need that. And, well, I might. And now I can. So, got that. what do we have here? We have rovers, wheels. Not quite planning on using that immediately, but well, look at that, we might as well, so research that. And the ruggedized vehicular wheel, yeah. This was a waste. I don't want the wheels. I don't want the wheels. I want this kind of stuff more. But anyway, the science has been spent, and I'm going to go into the vehicle assembly building like a gleeful, happy child and design a fusion ship that I will present to you tomorrow in the next episode. And then I have a feeling the universe will truly be unlocked to our grubby grabbing hands. As always, thanks for watching. Do subscribe if you haven't yet. The videos come fast and frequent, and I think you'll enjoy them, because now the training wheels come off and we get to play with fusion drives. So, this was Lorenzo. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.